But in recent years, the Maya have become much more aware of the rest of Mexico. Maybe Raimundo felt he should prepare the boys for the future. Perhaps the family itself would be more secure if the boys were earning wages or at least literate. The boys' aunts, uncles, and cousins had left Yucatán several years previous and were clinging to existence on Merida's outskirts. They were especially glad to get some corn that tasted like home. I'd never before seen Raimundo idle.
¿Usted nunca tiene ganas de venir para vivir aquí?
No me gusta. Más me gustaría allí.
Sí.
Hay suficiente lugar para vivir y todas las gallinas, cochinitas, pues aquí no, ¿cómo va a tener cochinitos o gallinas? Aquí no hay dónde para pasar. Allí donde estamos hay solares grandes para pasar gallinas, cochinos, todas las cosas que necesitan, hombre. Sí hay lugar para pasar. Pero aquí no hay 10 metros y 20 metros, ¿sí? ¿Dónde va a poner? No hay lugar. No hay lugar. Yo no pienso venir aquí a vivir.
Maybe this is what I'd come here to see, that moment when the lives of parents and children begin inexorably to move apart. Both boys had caked their faces with talcum powder, a normal practice for any important occasion. At the school gate, children who knew the ropes here told Raimundo to come inside. To not complicate matters, we withdrew. Okay, let's just leave him here. Raimundo and Agrafina felt they had to return to Yucatán that same afternoon. But when they left, they took with them a family presence the boys had never been without. And within a few days, they left the school. The boys' return home seemed to mean more than the collapse of a family's venture into the modern world. It seemed to raise doubts about their entire way of life. Every Maya I'd ever met knew his life was a struggle, but a struggle that warranted pride and respect. Now Raimundo found himself using the proud and ancient task of opening a new field as punishment for a son. Automaro, instead of eagerly entering adulthood, was settling for what he felt was the least desirable option. Life was turned upside down. Those last days really brought things into focus for me. Just consider this. A family strong enough to manage life in one of the world's most difficult environments was shaken to its core simply by a move into an environment that required different adaptations. The family got itself right back on track, but the message was clear for me and for my work. You see, I'd begun 15 years ago trying to figure out my sense of loss at not being able to recreate the kind of family my grandparents had. I couldn't recreate anything. The system I was living in large part, would determine my family structure, and it did. It gave me a nuclear family, small enough and mobile enough to respond quickly to my environment, a complex, diverse economy. In the United States, we become individuals because we must. If we get a little lonely, if I sometimes yearn for the kind of closeness my grandparents had, all that does is remind me just how fast change has taken place in my society. The pace of change is a lot slower in Chican. It remains a village of corn farmers, and now one of them is out tomorrow. But Romaldo went back to Merida. He works in a small furniture factory, and he's putting himself through school, but he vows he'll never farm corn. We continue to work with him because I think there's so much to learn there. I want to interview Romaldo, and someday I want to interview his kids. Maybe I can do that when they come down to Chican to celebrate a holiday with their grandparents. Okay. Otra vez. Ana. María Eddie tiene que esto, un poco. Ups, demasiado cubriendo su marido. Y Audo, poco así. Bastante. This is great. This is great. You know, all those serious, deadly, stoic pictures of people. We're getting all the stuff before and after them, which is full of laughter. ¿Quiere otro?
Toma una más, así que salga más mejor.
Dino, un ojo está cerrado.